Paste. YouTube done. Come back. Do it again. Nicole Scherzinger, give me that copy. And paste. Alan Alder. Paste. Nicole Scherzinger, search. Go on then, we'll start there. Bing, Nicole Scherzinger. Let's say hello to you all. Kyle was first in the house. How are you doing, Kyle? Turkey Tree Father. Welcome to the show. Susanna, I already said hello to you. And Chris, how are you doing? Oh, Tubbs. How are you doing, Tubbs? Right. Let's get the show on the road. We'll start with this. Frankenmonster. If you can't see it, I can't help you. Look, that's death warmed up right there. Look at those male cheekbones. Large, low set, pointed back ears. Look at them. When I was looking at a couple the other day, I walk with them nearly every day anyway. You're looking at the husband, his ears were large, low set, pointed back, and ears were higher up and closer to the eye than his. From a side profile. He's got huge eyeballs. Look at the size of that triangle. Let's get a face shot. There's a neck shot. He's got a place to put Mama's spicy meatball. Right there. Look at that neck. Broad shoulders. He's probably vegan. Keeps himself skinny. And that's why all the women in the world can't understand why they don't look like this. Why you don't look like men. Well, it's quite simple. It's because you're women. It's because you're women. Full stop. Every single female celebrity is secretly transgendered or double transgendered. Secret flip-flops. They're not open about it. And even when they are open about it, I'm usually looking at a double flip-flop. We find a few that are like drag queens that are what they say they are, and then there are drag queens that are women pretending to be men, pretending to be women. Mental, innit? Utter confusion. That's what the devil wants. He wants utter confusion around the world, and as it is, because you've grown up looking at these, look at the size of the hand, sweet baby, and it's miscoloured. Look. How come the rest of him's all brown, but his hands are white? I've got to ask the question. Did he have his hands outside the spray tent? Because you've grown up looking at these men. I'm talking to the men out there, the gentlemen, the dudes. I'm talking to you dudes out there, right? Because you've grown up looking at these wide-eyed, long-armed, big bolt-on shoulder look. And these giant hands, if that slapped you, it would literally knock you into next week. Because you've grown up looking at them, you find them attractive. It was, to a certain extent, for all of us, I'm talking for all of us men, the biggest lie ever told to us, that these are beautiful women when they're clearly not. But someone has imprinted it on you so many times that it's a woman, you believe that that's a woman. It's the same way, right, that they've imprinted this globe on you. Look at this. This is the same example. Look. Globe. No, not Bridlington. Globe. Just give me the bloody globe. I don't want to go to Bridlington. There. Remember, they did it from school. Oh, my gosh. Advert, get off. Images. They did it from schooling, right? They started off with this, teaching you this, and then it's at a 23.4 whatever degree angle, and the Antarctica gets 24 hours of sunlight, according to people like Jeranism. Because you were taught this from birth, this is, when they show you this, you believe this is real. People believe that is real, and I can show them it over and over again, and they believe that that is real. There are no stars in space. When they do put them in there, they have to tell you it's CGI, because otherwise someone will plot the day, the time, and then use trigonometry and geometry to plan them stars and say, excuse me, NASA, the stars are in the wrong position. So they don't put stars in space. But just the way that you've been shown this ball, this is where you live. This is where you live all your life. At the start of movies, you see this thing spinning. Dun, 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 dun. Everywhere you go, it's football, baseball, golf ball, basketball. Everything's about the ball, the Baal worship. And when you're shown the real thing, which is what you see with your own two eyes, because they brainwashed you, you can't see that water's level. Even though they tell you water's level, they don't want you to understand anything. If 72% of the water on Earth is seawater, and the seas are level, look, they don't bend, they don't curve. I've literally got a friend up the road who's is wide-eyed to nearly everything. You know, he sees the lies in all sorts, but cannot admit that he's been fooled over water level. It's that simple. It's an IQ test. I can show you this over and over again from all around the world. Everybody takes this same picture. Flat, horizontal, sea level. Everybody takes this picture. You cannot take this picture if you stood upside down on a ball, because the water falls off a ball. How stupid do you have to be to carry on believing this lie? The longest road in Australia goes for 100 kilometres and it's on a flat plane. An absolute flat plane. Like the sea. It's at land level, but it's cruising for 100 miles flat. The Nullarbor Plains. Nullarbor Plain in Australia. That'll do. There it is. Look at that bad boy. 100 kilometres, flat and straight. It's called the treeless plain, look. Eastern end of the treeless plain. There are no trees. It's just flat for 100 kilometres. Is it 100 kilometres? I don't know. 100 miles. I don't know what it is, but I know it's a huge distance, lot. It's from there to there in Australia. It's huge. Remember, Australia is 4,000 miles across. Trains as well. The trains in Australia, the one that comes from the top here down to the bottom and goes right. Oh my gosh. See, trains don't go up hills. They might do, even in Thomas the Tank Engine, it shows you need a shunter. But there it is. I can show you that the world is flat over and over again with multiple pictures like this, not just from the Nullarbor Plain, from the Outback Plain, from the Savannah Plain, from the Serengeti Plains. It's plain to see. You live on flood plains. That's how God created floods. If you was on a ball, how do you flood a ball? You can't. It rolls off a ball. But you can flood a flat plain. Because it proves God, yet again. The Nullarbor. How did they end up on the Nullarbor Plains? Oh, yeah. So, because you were brought up believing how many horizon pit? There we go. Because you were grown up believing that this is where you live, and when you're shown the proof of where you live, you still deny it. The same thing happens with these men. As much as though you guys don't want to admit it, you're jacking off to a dude. Granted, when it comes to the glamour models and that, I think they do let normal women and men into it, but they don't become the Nicole Scherzinger of porn or anything like that. The Samantha Fox of glamour. They don't let you get that popular unless you've got the wrong skeleton and you're good enough to fool the people. And that's what we're talking about. This body here fools the general public. A skinny dude. All he's had is a boob job and a bum lift. Look at that flat body. Absolutely flat like an ironing board. I'd expect some type of muffin top below that belly button. I'd expect an indent above it. And I've got neither. You can't see the giant man hands and the long arms, look. Look at the size of them feet. Hello, wildlife and fisheries. Look at the size of them oofers. See, all the markers are male. Long male arm, big hands, bowling ball skull, huge cheekbones, look. Massive feet. We've seen the flat body. Is this the girlfriend? That's, what's the face? 2 first names, Lewis Hamilton. Tell me, which one of them two has got the big flat 5 head? Look, it's there. Look at that basin head, straight across the top, widest in the hairline, not in the cheekbones like this fella here, lot, who's widest in the cheeks, narrow in the forehead. Look how his head narrows inwards, but not a woman's. A woman's bellows outwards, look. Best drivers in the world are women, apparently. Nicole Scherzinger is an absolute stick insect when you can see it, look. Look at the huge humerus bone. Look at the giant man hands. Look at the huge feet. They have to cross the legs over to try and create an hourglass, even though they've got bum lifts. Cheekbones, rectangular shaped eyes, short sloping forehead. I was hoping that was going to be a penis in there, Nicole. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to be sick. I'm seeing Nicki Minaj. Look at them clavicles. Explain to me how Nicole Scherzinger has got a longer neck, bigger shoulders, and straighter clavicles. Yeah? Than London's hardest gangsters. Explain it to me like I'm 4 years old. I'm listening. Because I'm telling you now, those 2 little ladies, remember these were London's roughest gangsters. They were gangsters. Like Al Capone, she had wonky nipples as well. Explain to me how Nicole Scherzinger outweighs those 2. Look at them bolt-on shoulders, look. Look how the neck comes down and stops because the clavicle protrudes past it. Bolt-on arm, look. Bolt-on arms. Look at these 2 faggot fannies. Arms akimbo, look. The neck rolls right into the shoulder. The clavicles, they're not even close. Look. Look at the size of this clavicle here, look. Right? And then look at this dude. Oof. Oof. He outweighs the craze. Look at his wingspan. Look at where his neck stops, look, and his shoulder keeps going because his arms are bolted onto his body. They don't hang like little ducky wings out to the side. Akimbo. Look. Akimbo. They can't hang straight like a man's. Well, they can, but that's just a woman sat in natural pose. That is good enough to pass, right? All my life, I thought Ronnie and Reggie were the hardest gangsters to walk in London streets. But they're not. They're a pair of flip-flops, so everything to do with them is made up. Remember, they don't want the real gangsters in control of everything, do they? They have to be the gangsters, but it's hidden in plain sight. And this is the same. You were brought up to being told that these 2, what would you call them? Rizzler weights. Rizzler weight, ungummed boxers are men. And they're not. They're both girls. Look at the sloping jaw. It looks like Tom Hardy. Look at the titties. I've seen more meat on a sparrow's kneecap. So all this stuff about, which one was, I don't know, one of them was meant to be gay. All this stuff about Ronnie or Reggie, was it Ronnie? Ronnie was the one that liked Marmite mining. He can't have been because it's a girl. But that explains why she liked the young lads, the young gay boys. I don't know. Don't even ask me because I'm a straight guy. None of that interests me. It really doesn't. Look at these two. You gotta be kidding me. Look at the state of them. Went on to become Britain's hardest gangsters. Ash. All it takes is a few photos, look. That one looks questionable, doesn't it? That's all it took. A few photos with these two, with a black eye, a thick lip, and a pair of boxing gloves. Oh yeah, they were the gangsters. You don't mess with them. So when they produced them when they're older, lot, Britain's biggest gangsters, in reality, they don't look that big, do they? Stocky women. That's what you're looking at. Stocky women. Look at them trout. Look at those hips. Explain it. Explain to me how Nicole Scherzinger has got, not forget the body, the shoulders. Where's that body shot? Explain to me this, look. No hips whatsoever. And then explain that to me there, look. That bread basket. Same with Rodgy, Rennie. I don't know what you call them. Who cares? Pair of flip-flops. They walk like pufters. That's what my dad would have said. They walk like a pair of minces, son. And that's the whole point of it. That's why real gay men do this walk, mimicking woman, because all these flip-flops do it. All your icons do it. What was I watching earlier on? I watched Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown, never seen it. Quentin Tarantino's. There's a bit where Samuel L. Jackson's I say walking, I mean mincing through the shopping mall. And I was just, everybody in the shopping mall was doing it. I was in bits. My training was off the chart this afternoon watching that movie. But it becomes more and more obvious. The longer you do this and the more you learn about it, it just becomes obvious that there is a little woman mincing. That there is a woman with ski whiff legs. She's still got a diamond showing up between her legs. Shouldn't be there. This one, full mince. The craze in full mince and one of their hench, and I use the word loosely, men, absolutely ski whiffing it behind him. There's a beautiful shot, look. Look at that. Inline footfall. Same here from Flamingo. It's all in the suits, look. Tailored suits. Look at the chin to the tie. Look at the chin to the tie. Now, look at Nicole Scherzinger. Now, look at the chin to where the tie would be. Neck o'clock. You see, I used to think I needed the gates all the time, but the better you get at studying the human body, the whole of the body, the harder it is for them to pass in front of you. It really is. Stick insect. It's a Frankenmonster. It was created in a laboratory somewhere. That's why they all look the same. Because they put on bolt-on boobs, you know, the old silicone fun bags. They trim down the chin a bit. They fatten up the lips of the man, because men have thin lips. It's the woman has big lips, remember. But they cannot touch the eyes, look. They can trim down and thin the brow bone out, look. But they cannot bring those eyes closer together. Look at the bridge in the nose. It's huge. And if we go to the craze, look. Literally, their eyes are almost touching, look. In comparison to Nicole Scherzinger, look at the sloping jawline. But yet it passes. All of them pass. Anyone connected to these people and telling stories about them have got to be in the club. It really is. Let's get rid of the craze. Back to this fella. Who is a fella? Short, sloping forehead. I've shown you the meme plenty of times this week. I really love it because it shows you how good. Once you don't need the overlays and you can just look at my face, you can see I've got a short forehead, look, but wide eyes. Look at it. Short forehead, wide eyes. My head isn't bellowing outwards. There's no Mickey Mouse shape in my hairline because I'm a natural boy. I'm a real boy. There's a good one. For the rectangular eye sockets, I finally used this picture that we found I think we found it a couple of weeks ago. And there's the difference, look. Sean Penn's close set eyes versus the wide eyes, look. The much longer forehead and the much shorter forehead. When you draw that line across. Have I got one in this set? I don't know if there is. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Oh, I didn't draw the line down though. But look at the Mickey Mouse ears in the hairline because it makes the letter M. Close set, pretty eyes, high set ears, sloping jawline, pointed chin, Adam's raisin. There it is. The definition of that picture that I wanted to show you. Again, I didn't realise how good these pictures would come in later reference when I made them. It teaches you instantly the long face of a woman with close set eyes, but the far apart, wide cheeks, look, the narrower forehead. Look at the five head, look at the forehead, look at the far apart eyes, look at the close set eyes, look. And that's all it's going to take right there is the short forehead and the wide eyes, look. There are many different ways to check the face. Wide, widest, wide again, man. However, the girlfriend here, look, is widest in the hairline, narrow in the cheeks, and narrowest here. It's had a jaw implant. Imagine what that would look like without the jaw implant. High set ears, look, low set ears. He looks a bit like Jackie Brown there, doesn't he? Jackie Brown. Who plays Jackie Brown? I can't remember. And I should do that person. And again, the huge male cheeks, the wide mouth, the large low set ears. Is that you, Roberto? Oh my word. I thought it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I did. Look at that five head. Absolute T-fal scientist because the skull bellows outwards. It doesn't cave in like a man's. I can spot him from a mile away. I really can. Russell Brand, there's another tart. With the big five head and the close. Look at the arched eyebrows because the rounded eye socket. Not like this one with a thick brow bone, which they couldn't take down anymore. Remember, when they sand down, when they boss it down, when they sand down the brow bone, they can only go so many millimeter. Because once you go past that, you're going to hit bone marrow and you're going to do damage to the skull. So you don't want to do that. So they have to leave these big clunking eyebrow bones in place, look. But again, because you're that used to looking at that, you don't recognise that normal women don't have these big, thick brow bones. It's a much smoother version than a man's. Once you understand that God gave everything curvy to a woman, including your eye sockets. But that's just a dude in a floral dress. Nicole Scherzinger is an absolute man. Let me go to my back file. Have I got one open? Documents, desktop, downloads. No, let me open the H file. That one. And let's pop Nicole Scherzinger's name into there. Paste. Whilst it searches for Nicole, again, when a woman puts her hand, look at them claws. Honestly, it looks like Nosferatu. It looks like someone's just let him out of a coffin. When a woman puts her hands on her hips, right, she doesn't have these giant fingers and hands anyway. But what she certainly doesn't have is this huge diamond that you get from a male. It is more if you imagine a proper diamond shape, like a put between people's legs, this is like a diamond laid sideways. And a woman's is like the other way. It's much shorter. Because women don't have a long humerus bone. They have a shorter humerus bone made for breastfeeding. We're done. Nicole Scherzinger is a man. I can tell just by the distance in your eyes. Look at the close set, soft, rounded eyes, pink lips. high set ears, wide eyes, red lips, low set ears. Right, let's put him to bed. Walking. We'll start there. There's one. Oof. Jared. That one's lovely. Straight legs, knees together. There is a space between his feet. It's just he's wearing a dress. She's got close set eyes there, hasn't she? In comparison to that person here. If you're just looking at their eyes, look. Who's got the bigger face with the stronger jawline, look? Versus that one. He looks like one of them out of the prank show. I can't remember what they call it. Impractical Jokers or whatever it is. There's another one. Knees together versus knees apart, look. When a woman walks, her knees open, she swings a leg around. It's like a circular motion. The hip gyrates upwards and downwards, creating a twist. Same with the shoulders usually. But I think it's because she's holding hands. There's your answer. Knees together, knees apart. I don't walk like this. I walk like that. But again, they put them in ball gowns, put them on stage, make them sing pretty songs to you. And the next thing you know, you're jacking off to them. But it don't matter. Because we can see, look at them, but I'll show you this in a second. Straight legs, knees together. My eyes were attracted to this picture. Look at the shoulders, bolted on arms, look. Long male arms. Look at the thickness of, look at that clunky lump at the wrist. And then look at the size of them hands. Big, veiny hands, meatball knuckles. Absolute dude in disguise. Runs around wearing leotards and spandex. Oh my gosh, I want spandex.
For any kind of clothes in particular?
Spandex. All spandex. Where's the spandex section?
Where's the spandex section at? Where's the spandex section at? See, that's the first thing that the MTFs do. They get tarded up to get men lusting after the bodies. And they want natural women to dress like this as well. All over the shop. Size of them feet. We're done. Oh, is that all of them? Look at that. The pussycat men. They should have called them the doggy... pussycat. The doggy dog men. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's just... It's just off, but you can't see it. But it's there. 5 men walking. It's the same with the Spice Boys. And Boys Aloud. All these girl bands are boys, and all the boy bands like Take That explains Gary Barlow and Robbie's campness and Mark Owen's soft hairdresser's voice. It explains it all to you. That you've been looking at inverted people all your life. They've inverted the world. They've inverted the way you look at each other. They literally tell you. Stephen Colbert at the Grammys or whatever it was, the Oscars, he was like, kneel down before me, you godless sodomites. And I was just like, she's telling the truth in plain sight. We're done. Look at those feet. Look at the neck. Look at the place to put Mama Spicy Meatball. Look at the clavicles. Every day I can show you this. But you've got to go and learn to do this. Look at this. Tell me which one of them, I'm taking that picture, which one of them's got the furthest apart eyes and the shortest forehead, look. Look whose forehead caves inwards, look. It doesn't bellow outwards, it caves in like mine. Look whose forehead bellows outwards. Widest in the hairline, widest in the cheekbones. Small mouth, big mouth. Large, low set ears. Small, high set ears. Close set eyes, rounded eye sockets, look. Huge, rectangular, far apart eyes. Final answer. Nicole Scherzinger is an absolute dude. Tweet. Oh, we've got two of them. Go on, put them both up. Might as well.